Hello and welcome. So we've got an exciting show today. Really looking forward to this one. There's so much going on in the crypto space at the minute. We thought we'd title this one The Next Big Crypto Craze. And we've got Tivra coming on in about 15, 20 minutes time to talk about the ordinals and the discussion that he had over on the Twitter spaces, which I think most of us are really kind of blown away with. Before that, I want to take a little bit of time just to talk to Lawrence and Yannick about their sponsorship in motorsport proposal. As many of you know, I'm actually a huge motorsport fan. I actually quite like the idea of Decred being on the side of a car, and I think it intrigues me, if nothing else. I mean, obviously, it's up to the stakeholders to work out the value that this could actually add, but I think it's necessary that we kind of just have a little talk to these guys, see the direction of where it's going. So the first question I'd like to ask is, how did you guys find out about the Decred project? And what made you consider Decred as a sponsorship partner for your racing team?
Eh bien, donc je connais Decred depuis 2017 par l'intermédiaire d'un ami qui en faisait sa promotion sur divers réseaux sociaux. Je lui ai parlé de mon intention de mettre la voiture, de participer à la saison BGDC 2023. Donc du coup, il m'a parlé de Politea que je ne connaissais pas du tout, donc j'ai pris l'initiative d'y faire la proposition.
Yeah, so I will translate in English. So yeah, he knows Decred since 2017, and he looked into it, and he was looking for sponsorships to play the race next year. So his friends told him to check Politea, and he looked to it and made the proposal there. Yeah.
Oh, we've lost them. Oh no. Hopefully, carry on, Jay. What else did they say? So, who was the friend that told them about the Decred project then?
He didn't say more. He didn't say who was the friend. Just like, yeah, he knows Decred since 2017. I think that's a long time ago. Yeah, and yeah, he was looking for funds to raise the next season, and his friend told him to check Politea, as you can make a proposal, and yeah, he made it.
Yeah, I think this could be interesting. I mean, I don't believe, and I mean, you guys might be able to correct me on this, but I don't believe we've actually ever had Decred as a sponsor of anything. Am I wrong in saying that?
So I don't believe so. Yeah. Trying to think.
One of the things that I'm kind of currently thinking is it would be nice to test the water with this stuff. And I mean, like I said before, I'm quite a huge F1 fan. And last year I saw Tezos everywhere, and I saw crypto.com everywhere. And it just made me think, you know what? And it was even in football as well. They seem to be the two main ones over here. We had, or you guys are called soccer, I suppose, but we had football and we had Formula One. We just had so much sponsorship, especially from Tezos and crypto.com. So it's quite interesting to see. Maybe that could be the grounding for this. Hello again.
Hello. Sorry,
Hold on.
Il y a un problème. La page s'est déconnectée d'un seul coup. Je ne sais pas ce qui se passe.
No problem at all. Sorry, Exus, what were you just about to say?
I was going to say, I believe Decred has sponsored events in the past, in that when you go to an event to be a speaker, you basically sponsor it to some degree. I don't think that worked out necessarily too well. And I know we did sponsor the Geo project, which was the software for developing Go DCR. And I don't know exactly how well that went, but it was a pretty low amount of money. So I think it was pretty good all in all.
Yeah, it's just worth, it's a testing ground, I suppose, what the point I was trying to make. The next thing, I suppose, was back over to Lauren and Yannick, is what value do you believe this proposal would bring to Decred, and how do you see it improving the visibility and awareness of the project?
Well, personally, I think it's as we are driving on a pretty big competition, knowing across all Europe, and driving on the biggest tracks like Spa-Francorchamps, Magny-Cours, it's all Formula One tracks. The visibility would be very big. It's streamed. The resumes are streamed on national television. We are racing the biggest race weekends you can have up here in Belgium, like the 24 hours of Spa, the 25 hours of Fun Cup. So the amount of people that are attending those race weekends is pretty big. So in my opinion, in this first year, you can have a lot of publicity for a little budget, because when you see other cars racing, we are talking about budgets above 100,000 euros just for one race weekend. You know what I mean? So
remind the audience, what is the budget proposal for this one? Is I think it's 20 something. I can't remember.
Yeah, 24 or 26.
24,000, yeah. And that spans from basically now all the way until October. That also includes the car design and the paint job that goes on it. And you're also saying it's actually the races that you'll be there, the weekends that you're going to be racing with that Decred car will be during some of the big events, some of the 24-hour races. And I know that to anyone that's not into racing, that doesn't seem like a lot, but I mean, that actually does attract quite a huge crowd. So that's quite interesting. I didn't realize that.
I mean, maybe I just want to say the fact that I will be racing the next season in Laurent's car, because of my results of I did last year in my own sprint cup. It's the biggest sprint competition here in Belgium, and I ended the season as a champion. So I got a lot of how do I say it? I'm pretty popular. So the biggest news websites from here in Belgium that have thousands of followers, they are putting articles about me every time. I think we can link them in his proposal. But
yeah,
just the fact that I will be racing, I will be changing from the Sprint Cup to also an Endurance Cup. It's going to be pretty popular, and they're going to talk a lot about it in different media platforms from here. So the visibility would be pretty big in my eyes for that little budget.
And that's something that we probably need to say is Yannick is it the current endurance champion or the sprint champion?
The Sprint Cup championship,
yeah. So I mean,
last season we had 10 races, and I have been 8 times on the podium, 5 times with a victory, and 3 times with a second place. So I was announced last year. I was announced to be one of the upcoming talents in the Belgium motorsport.
I've got a follow-on question. This isn't on my list, but obviously, if you're going on the podium, your overalls, are you going to have any Decred livery on your overalls?
We could do that in my Sprint Cup. It's what I want to do for the next season, because last season I did everything without sponsors. I paid from my own pocket, like we say. So this year I think if we could put some Decred logos, maybe one on the front of the overall, and then when we do television interviews, then we maybe can put one on the t-shirt we have underneath, like the underwear, like they call it. We could put it here, just the logo, so when we are on television, you can see the Decred logo also.
Just something nice and subtle. Yeah, absolutely. So another question that a lot of stakeholders will have, and a lot of people don't really understand how the proposal system works, is for the majority of the work, most people get paid after they do the work. And I know this is in your proposal, but I think it's worth just saying, how do you intend to kind of withdraw the funds from your proposal, in what stages?
Do you mean how it would pay, how the money would come to us in different parts?
Yes.
Is that what you mean? Yeah.
C'est ça. Donc les paiements seront répartis en 5 fois. Donc chaque paiement correspondra aux frais qui sont liés pour la course suivante. Le premier paiement représente donc les frais liés de la deuxième course avec le sponsoring, le covering, pardon. Et ensuite, ce ne sont que les inscriptions et les consommables des courses après course.
Yeah, so it will be 5 payments. So the first one is about the paint job and the first race inscription, and then each payment is race inscription. So
Il faut savoir que nous ne prenons pas en compte l'achat du véhicule, les éventuelles casses ou les petites réparations qu'on pourrait avoir suite aux accrochages pendant les courses, ni même les optimisations que nous sommes encore occupés à faire sur la voiture, de gagner quelques chevaux et pouvoir perdre aussi quelques kilos, rendre la voiture plus performante. Tout ça n'est pas pris en compte. Nous demandons que les inscriptions et le consommable.
yeah, so you have to know that it not includes the car cost in the proposal. It don't include the reparations, and neither includes the optimization they are working on to win more often. Yeah, only the cost of the race.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people will kind of want to know that, you know, we're actually going to see the results before we pay out the next thing. And I mean, it brings me on to my next question. Would you guys be willing to do more of these live streams? So maybe after you have one race where maybe you come on and you talk to us and maybe even show us some pictures and kind of tell us how it all went. Would you be prepared to do things like that as follow-ups?
Well, I did that similar thing last year about my season. So after every race, I put it how do we call it? A nice debriefing of the race weekends, how everything has gone, what has happened, and with a lot of explanation. I did it in English also. So on the other hand, my social medias are pretty popular now. So I got I'm not gonna say a very big, but I got a big following because of my result last year, and I would put myself on my own page that debriefing, and I have also a personal photographer a professional who follows us, like me, or next season it will be us, and he's taking only pictures of our car. So you have the official from the race organization.
We could take the we could take the English version off of your social media, put it on Decode magazine or something like that.
I can send you the pictures. I can send everything because we also have onboard camera, so we can send onboard. That was maybe a little thing. Maybe we can put on the inside of the car. We can put the Decred logo just in front of the camera. So when you got on board, you always see the Decred logo. I think
these are the sorts of things that the stakeholders would want to know about. I think that they're going to get enough exposure, because that's half the battle is, you know, if we're promoting something like this, we want to shout about it. We want to say, look, that's our car over there and that's doing great and all the rest of it. And the more of this stuff you give us, the more we can get that behind it. And I think that's really interesting. It's nice that you said that. It's nice to also hear that you've got a nice following and that's blowing up. The next question then is, what's the car going to look like? What's the general feel that it's going to be?
Right. I think Laurent already sent a first version of the little maquette we made with the Decred logo on the side.
Donc j'ai publié un début de maquette, donc un premier geste sur la page de la proposition. Évidemment, elle est perfectible. Il faut ajouter certaines choses comme a été proposé, comme a proposé Shane. Donc, par exemple, des logos, des slogans tels que le Money Evolved, l'astronaute emblématique de Decred, le DCRDEX, le réseau social Bison Relais, tout ça peut être discuté. Mettons que la proposition soit acceptée. J'ouvrirai une page sur le forum de Decred pour que la communauté puisse donner ses suggestions. Ensuite, une maquette définitive sera proposée avant de lancer le travail de recouvrement. Ce sera une décision de la communauté, je pense.
If the community would allow us to get sponsored, I have a personal designer who also made the first version of the little car. So if we need to put other logos or like the community would want, I can let it make by that same guy, and we can send it through in his proposal, and we can finalize the car, and then just make the car just as same in real life. That would be another problem.
I heard you say like links to DEX there and Bison Relay as well, which I thought was quite cool. Did I miss anything else, Jay?
Yeah, no, it just says that he's open to put everything that Bison Relay, DEX, or even the astronaut as the logo. So yeah, it's like really up to the community, and he's open to.
In many respects, I think links to DEX and Bison Relay would actually be, and this is just me talking, not the community, but it would actually be more beneficial than having a Decred logo at this point, actually promoting the service, especially if over the next few months, well, the DEX is already ready, so that's not a problem, but I think that'd be massively beneficial. I had a cheeky question, and I already know the answers. These guys are giving me some back house or paddock passes, which is great. So I'm going to see the Spa race, whether this proposal goes through or not. So I'm happy. But the question I had is, can Decred members get free or discounted tickets to come and watch the races if the proposal is successful?
Absolument. Chaque personne qui de la communauté qui voudrait assister aux compétitions seront bien volontiers invités et seront pris en charge, et nous offrirons tous les accès, les meilleurs accès possibles.
Yeah, of course, every people of the community is welcome and will be invited, and they will do as much as they can to to invite us. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
You can get entry tickets, parking tickets, and you can have a little catering at our box. That will be not a problem.
That's going to be amazing. Like, I'm booking myself in either for the July one or the October one. I've never been to Spa, and it's on my tick list, so this will give me the ultimate excuse to go. Look, final question then, guys. This one goes completely out to you. Is there anything else you guys want to say to kind of win people over in your favor?
Well, maybe on my end, like you were talking about the links to the services you are giving with the community, and I just cannot say the names because I forgot them, but I can put maybe a weekly post about the community and about the service, because you will be seen as the main sponsor of the car. So with all the pictures I get from my professional photographer, I could once in a week post a nice picture of the car, which maybe you guys can provide what's to put in the publication, I want to say, but I can post one weekly because I got a nice follow-up, could be seen by a lot of people, I think, and maybe trigger some people to go look into the services that the company gives.
Yeah, that'd be great. If you could send me the picture to the mock-up that you've done, that'd be really useful as well, and I'll put that on the Decred magazine article for this live stream. Look, guys, I really appreciate you guys coming in and talking to us. Hopefully that's given a little bit of clarity. I'm sure these proposals will probably go up for voting Tuesday or Wednesday this week, so hopefully that's kind of swayed either way. I mean, obviously it's not my job to sway stakeholders, but at least they've had a chance to listen to you. Exus or Jay, is there anything else you want to add to these guys before I let them go?
I just wanted to thank them for using Decred's technology stack, Politeia proposal system to engage with the community and give us something to talk about. It makes being part of a DAO really, really exciting. And I'd just like to add everything you've said here, all those kind of extra interesting details you should add to Politeia, because that's ultimately what people are going to read before they go to vote. So if you want the best chance for your proposal to succeed, try to include all that really interesting, great information you just gave us here, because we can't guarantee that every stakeholder is going to watch this stream, where you can almost guarantee everyone's going to read that proposal. And obviously all of this is up to Decred's network of stakeholders, collective, stakeholder group around the world. So yeah, best of luck to you guys, and thanks for coming to Decred.
Thank you. But I have just in that proposal that everybody is going to read, is it a good idea to put a few pictures of my car last year, which I was racing, to show what kind of pictures you're gonna get if
Absolutely.
Decred's in the car.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Anything you think will help your proposal succeed and kind of relay to stakeholders what they're going to get from this, absolutely include it.
Okay, well, I'm gonna send a link to Laurent, and Laurent will put it into that proposal on that forum.
Yeah, no, it's been amazing speaking to you guys, and hopefully we're going to catch up at Spa either in July or October, so it's going to be amazing. Thank you so much, guys.
I would suggest the July one for weather reasons.
Yeah, but I like the rain. Spa's known for the rain. You got it. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we've got Tivra coming in now.
Hello there. Hello.
Hey, Tivra, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great. It was really interesting to listen to you guys.
These guys are doing a great job, and I'm generally interested to see how sponsorship would work with Decred, and I think yeah, it's going to be interesting, and but what these guys disappeared for 2 seconds, but I was saying to Exodus and Jay about this year on F1, all I've seen is Tezos and crypto.com. It's been just literally everywhere I look, it's just those two companies. So it'd be great to see if sponsorship would work for us as well. But the big thing I want to talk about is what's the next crypto craze for 2023. Now, your discussion on Twitter Spaces with the Bitcoin guys, it's got me wondering: ordinals, NFTs, pictures filling up the blockchain. What, after hearing their discussions, what have you come away thinking?
You know what I've come away thinking is that like the very last thing I said in that space was that, it's becoming clearer that either you have a really private cryptocurrency and then you can have a really real currency, or if you don't have privacy, then it makes sense to say you have a public wall on which anyone can, spray paint their graffiti. So kind of NFTs bring out, in a way, this is what Monero guys say. It's a little bit extreme, but it does make sense. That it brings out something that is already true about Bitcoin in general, that it's an NFT, right? And as long as you have a open public blockchain without much privacy, then you will have this. And what is big? You asked what will be the big trend for 2023, and I do think these two things, whether we like it or not, I think NFTs will continue to be a big thing, and which I must admit surprised me a bit, because I was in the camp of people who said basically this is over, right? That the NFT trend is over, and this ordinal stuff surprised me a lot. But there are so many possibilities in ordinals that are untapped yet. We've seen just the beginning of it. I mean, there will be a lot more. Some people are already putting games on it. I mean, it's in a way it's completely crazy. But if you think about it, what's special about this? Okay, first of all, this idea that you put the whole JPEG, not just the URL to a JPEG, existed already before. It's not even this is new, because it exists in Ethereum, and so on. But there is something special to people about putting it on Bitcoin, right? The dominant, the number one chain, and so on. Because if you want this so-called, let's call it graffiti, to stay forever, you want it to be on the chain that you're most sure is gonna be there. I don't know, in 10 years or whatever. Okay, so like I said, either you have privacy and you have a currency, or you don't have and you have NFTs. So I think these two trends will be big in this year: privacy and NFTs. And NFTs are, started by ordinals. I think it will continue in this direction. I think this ordinals protocol, so to speak, will be. I think personally, I don't think this will stay like, for a very long time, but it will stay for a while. And I think 1 year, 1 year it will be alive, this ordinals protocol, and excitement around it. and because it also has its own, mini developer ecosystem now. So things are being developed there. And the other thing is privacy. And why privacy is because just yesterday here in my country, we had a conference, European Union's new regulations around crypto. And they are basically increasing surveillance over crypto transactions by a lot. So every transaction over 2,000 euro, which is basically nothing, right, will have extra scrutiny applied to it. Every crypto transaction, of course, it's not like they're all powerful and they can, they have their own limits to what they can know, but they will try to know as much as they can. So this is an issue, and this increased amount of surveillance will also render privacy a big topic of this year. And in this privacy rubric, I would also put anything connected to messaging also. So I really think that Decred this time is ahead of the curve on this narrative of this whole privacy environment narrative, which we are first here. And we are let's say competing with Nostr, but people will realize that Bison Relay is actually much more than Nostr. It's not actually comparable to Nostr. So yeah, these two things are big this year.
Yeah.
And just one last thing I wanted to say, and DEXs, that will continue to be. So these three things: privacy, NFTs, and DEXs. I think these three things will be the focus of this year.
I think you're not wrong. I think this is all important stuff. But the way I've been thinking about this, and this come really from your Twitter space. And if anyone out there listening to this hasn't seen the Twitter space that was done on Thursday, you've really got to watch it. You really got to listen to it. It's really good. And I'm thinking about MEV, maximum extractable value. And I listened to a podcast from the Chopping Block. It was the Unchained. And they had one of these contractors or somebody that's working on projects for the Ethereum blockchain, and those guys are big VC guys. That they're all about making money. That's literally all they're thinking about. And he made some really good points on that. The people that are still here, what they're trying to do now is make the most amount of money out of a single block. Okay, that's what it used to be, mining extractable value or something like that, but now it's maximum extractable value. So the idea is what can you put into a block that's going to give the miner or the proof of stake person the most amount of value backwards? And it got me thinking about these NFTs. And one of the guys on your show said, yeah, but it doesn't matter that we put NFTs on because they're only taking a certain part of the chain. And if a normal transaction wanted to go ahead of that, all they'd have to do is up their cost just a little bit. Now, that's just a little bit to you and I, or for a single transaction. But for the miner that's mining that block, if they get a transaction that's, I don't know, I think there's something like 27 sats, and then also automatically goes up to 50 sats, and they fill that. And most Bitcoin blocks, and I've been watching this quite heavy over the last week, are now filled with at least 1,000 transactions. So you're basically, what you're doing is you're doubling on 1,000 transactions for every single block. And it did get me thinking what those guys were saying. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So it's almost like, we can put this NFT there and it can sit there. But if another transaction tries to front run it, they've literally got to pay the extra vice, and that's extracting the value. And I do think this is my big takeaway from the Chopping Block episode, which was a couple of weeks back, I think, is the market is all about extractable value right now. The retail's left. We've had this big bear market, and retail's left. So now it's all about how can we extract the most amount of value out of the people that are still left. And that's basically what I'm seeing at the moment, is all these little mechanisms are being played out to try and get the most amount. And from Bitcoin perspective, it kind of makes a lot of sense because obviously they've got all their hardware to pay for. So every block that they mine has to have the maximum out of it. What do you guys think about that? Who wants to go first? Jay, you got anything to say?
No, so it's very interesting. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense for the miners to push that.
That's the train of thought I'm on. So I mean, I don't dismiss the big tech. For people that care about this stuff, the big tech is going to be communications, privacy, and trading on peer-to-peer dexes. How about you, Exodus?
Yeah, well, my initial reaction to your question of what's going to be big in 2023 is probably things that aren't going to be rug pulled, things that are going to be stable, because I feel like there's been so much hurt in 2022. You would think people would look for things that are stable, things that work, things of that kind of nature. So self custody. So most of what Decred does is right up that alley. But we'll see. Some of these things within crypto are so ridiculous to me, like NFTs, and I don't know. But yeah, I think just secure assets, I would hope, are going to be the more popular thing in 2023. That's what I've been seeing from people mostly. It's like, oh, thank God I wasn't in this, that everyone lost their money. I was in something safe. So safer things.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, Tibor, I'll let you answer. Did you have anything to say about that? Anything?
No, I totally agree with what Exitus say. I mean, that's how I think also. After all we've seen last year, you would think that the most rational move people could make is into increasing digital sovereignty and security and so on. And thank God that, I do see some of that in the space now. People are slowly waking up to this, but at the same time, it's really interesting how these things happen, right? Like if you just observe this NFT on Bitcoin phenomenon, like how, like it's so strange, like it comes so unexpected, and now everyone seems to be super excited about this, right? It's interesting.
Where did it even come from?
Yeah, exactly. How does these trends start, right? So now already it's a thing, right? Everyone thinks, okay, this is a thing. So everyone now needs to make, I don't know, a space about this, tweet about this. Everyone has to talk about this. It's now the current thing in crypto, right? And it's strange how it happens. And it's like irresistible. Once it starts, you cannot stop it. Yeah, I mean, I do think, like, once we talked about various projects, and I mentioned that I don't like Decred to do what another project which I was following called the Beam. I wasn't following it closely, but I'm aware of what they're doing. And one criticism I had of them is that they always wanted to try to do everything. Like when NFTs came, they wanted to be the NFT. They even changed the website to say NFT platform. When some DeFi was a thing, they were the DeFi and NFT platform, and so on and so on. And I don't want Decred to be that. I want us to stick to fundamentals, our fundamentals.
So you don't want Decred to be like a try-hard cryptocurrency, trying to be cool and fit in, and change our way of doing things. I don't. But I do think, like, just exploring this option, like they were talking on the trading channel a little bit about what would be a better way to do NFTs, for instance, using our timestamp function and so on. If it doesn't compromise if we don't need to change anything, we can just add it as an app, right? And use our existing infrastructure, and it wouldn't blow the chain. Why not, right? I mean, there is no reason why not to allow people to do that. And we don't need to put on Decred's main website, now we are an NFT platform. It can just be an app on Decred. That would be really cool. But yeah, I don't want us to chase anything.
I'm all for whatever people want to build, and that's what Lightning's for, right? And that's what, I mean, it was my next thing actually, but RGB. So you can have NFTs, you can have all these stable coins, you can have whatever you want, but if you're a node operator you don't want to be carrying all this stuff for somebody else. If you want an NFT, spin up a Lightning channel, spin up an RGB channel, and run it for yourself, and you be the security for the channel plus your own platform. And this is one of the big debates. And I saw someone in the trading chat say, I can't remember who it was, but they said if Decred had full blocks, that would be a good problem to have. And so I don't necessarily agree with that. I just think, what, Decred does its thing. It's very efficient, and we're building a lot of things, and we're barely touching. I'm doing the Decrediton videos at the minute, and I literally had to download the full chain to do a fully validating Decrediton wallet, and it took me 4 hours to download 10 gigs, and that's how big it is after 7 years, and we're 7 years old this week. But it took me 4 hours to download the whole gig, and I'm thinking, what? If you were someone like Zcash right now, how long is it going to take you to download that 200 gig platform? So I'm all for it, but if you want this stuff, at least have the decency to kind of spin up a node and secure it for yourself, and do it off chain as well. Do it via Lightning. That's what it's there for.
Yeah, I think Craze always add stuff that makes sense with cryptography, and yeah, NFT makes sense, but I mean, it have some downside as well. And yeah, I like Dave approach. Like the chain must be we only the important stuff there. I like it for the future because this is what we build. We are built to last in the future. So yeah,
yeah, I think so. And I think if you're thinking about a project that's only going to last 10 years, you're not really going to care what you put on chain, and most people wouldn't care. But if you want, and this is the way I think about Decred, I want something to give my kids in 20, 30, 40 years time, and if Decred chain is like 2 terabytes, it's like, well, who's got the motivation to run a 2 terabyte chain, with JPEGs on and MP3s and what was the game they put on the ordinals? It was Breakout. I played that actually on there. But yeah, it won't take long. Even at, well, it's not 1 megabyte. The Bitcoin chain isn't 1 megabyte anymore, is it? It's basically 4 megabytes. I saw somebody's tweet that said that this is the biggest block, and that was on yesterday, I think. And they had a 3.89 megabyte block, but yeah, no, it depends. It depends on your outlook. If you're thinking about, you want this to last a long time, 30, 40, 50 years and plus, what you put on chain now it means everything, really. And I like the idea of you have a Lightning channel. You look at the Bison Relay chat, the actual the bot that's running, the Bison Relay bot, is doing like 400 messages a day at the minute. They send them to all the channels, and it's costing me practically nothing. But none of that stuff is going on chain, So it's costing me like an atom every time it sends a message, but none of it's going on chain, And I think that's actually quite genius about the Lightning Network. And that's not to say it's completely there yet. It's still got a little way to go, but it's quite impressive that it works.
About Bison Relay, I really want to say that even if you don't think about it as a messaging application, right? You think of it as a wallet, right? Because it is a wallet. You can send Lightning payments to basically usernames, right? And if you think like that about it, it's one of the easiest Lightning apps to use. I mean, it's relatively easy. So for someone who tried to use various Lightning apps a bit, it's okay. We have to make an exception. If everything is like, if the setup is very centralized, then of course it will be easier to use. But we're talking about Bison Relay has a proper setup. So if you have like a proper setup like that, I mean, I don't think anything easier to use than Bison Relay exists in terms of wallets. I mean, not even messaging. And how should I say it? The idea here that excites me a lot, is to think of Bison Relay in this way, I don't think of it anyway as anymore as a competition, let's say to Telegram or Signal or something like that. But I think of it more that it will become something like a WeChat, like WeChat in China, as I understand it, I never used it, but as I understand it, is something like an everything app, right? And Elon Musk recently said that this is what he wants from Twitter, to make an everything app. So it will be what you use to talk to people, to video chat people, to make audio rooms, to pay, make transactions, donations, and so on and so on. And that's how I think of Bison Relay, except that it's a decentralized, encrypted version. So like a cypherpunk WeChat, And what really excites me about that is that, who knows, right? In the future, maybe this will be the way that people will want to use crypto, right? They wouldn't even use a proper wallet like we use today, because the only they will care about paying their their hairdresser, their friend to give a tip, to pay for a pizza, for a coffee, or whatever, and having usernames you add and you send instant transactions to will be probably the way they do things, right? And who knows? Because also I don't think people in the future will be buying. Most people will be buying tickets and so on because they'll be so expensive. So this will be only for more involved, serious investors and so on. So who knows? We really cannot know where the future will go, but I think it's not unthinkable, that Bison Relay will be the dominant wallet for Decred and the dominant use for Decred.
In my my latest video, which I'm putting together now, but I've done a comparison between them because I like the thought of what you just said about Bison Relay, and I said, Decrediton is really Decred's bank vault, and Bison Relay is going to be its web app, and one thing that hasn't struck most people yet is that it actually the Bison Relay actually runs with an SPV wallet, and then you open the channels. So you've actually got access from Bison Relay. You've actually got access to anything in the real world, so on chain, with an SPV, really lightweight wallet that can be used for mobile. But you've also got the Lightning channel, and because you have to set both up on day one, it's actually quite impressive. And I was thinking about register apps. I used one a few years ago for Bitcoin Cash register app, and that could easily be done. That you could literally have a register app that cancels everything else out, and you can literally use it for your bricks and mortar company, and that would be a really easy implementation. So the only thing is, at the moment, they haven't opened up the access to like the sending, or no, you can receive, you just can't take it out at the moment, I don't think. But another thing, just to keep on with the Bison Relay a minute ago, there's a user called what's his name? More for Us. Have you seen this guy? Anyway, he started posting on Bison Relay some really good, insightful kind of things of alpha, if you like, on the way that he sees other projects. And I thought, you know what, this is so good. And we had a little conversation, and I tipped him a whole bunch. And then I think it was Karamba coming. He's like, he said, More for Us, you need to open up more channel. I need to tip you a higher amount. So I want to tip you like 0.1 instead. And it was that easy. I liked it, and I wanted to show my appreciation, and obviously so did other people. And it was so natural, it was so organic. And that was something that was really, really cool as well. And I don't, in terms of Twitter being the all for app, this is where probably Bison Relay has got the up on most others, is that payments gateway is the first thing, not the last thing. Whereas everyone else, like the web, Twitter, probably Nostra, I don't think Nostra's got theirs yet, but they always think about it as, let's do the chat first, let's make private, let's do end-to-end encryption, let's add on the payment gateway. And what Bison Relay did really differently is they said, look, this is the payment gateway, and let's build things on top of it. And that is the general difference, is you've got a payment gateway that is actually central to the internet now, opposed to the internet having an add-on, which when that sinks in, that's quite interesting, because everything's being built around that. So the payment gateway will be the actual thing that is the most solid about the platform. Whereas if you think about it, the internet, everything else is, and then the payment gateway, your PayPals of the world, your Stripes and whoever else, it's kind of like, it might work, it might not, but we're going to need this central person and this third party to kind of help us out with that. But yeah, no, I thought that was a really good point about the wallet thing. I can definitely see once that mobile app is ready, once Byte Relay is on Umbrel, and we can actually just run it straight from Umbrel, it's going to be absolutely amazing.
That's really well put, the way you put it. I really liked what you say, that the big difference is really thinking from, starting with payments already integrated, and we don't see that anywhere else, including Nostr. Nostr added this, but it's not like part of the fabric of Nostr itself. And whenever someone compares things, we need to always stress this. The internet itself, payments were something added much later. And if we look at PayPal, it's terrible in every way.
But it was still an improvement on what Visa were trying to do. Visa and MasterCard were trying to have theirs at the same time. And it was just like, what the hell is this? 26% bloody fee every time I pay for something. No, I'm good. And in actual fact, their first one was so insecure. It was absolutely crazy. Sorry, Tivra.
No, you're right about that. Yeah, right about that. Because definitely it was an innovation. That's why PayPal became so popular. Definitely, it was an improvement over the status quo. But nobody expected, let's say, Bitcoin to come up when the internet started. So let's say the internet was created today from zero, and maybe someone who knows projects like the Urbit project could comment on it, but I don't know it well enough. That's an interesting attempt. Maybe comparing Bison Relay would make more sense to compare it to Urbit, because it's like a way to rethink the internet from ground up. But like you say, if the internet was started today, I think that whoever started it would consider Bitcoin as a part of its fabric, right? And Bison Relay is that. We could define it as that. It's like to rethink the internet, but by integrating blockchain into its fabric. Yeah, and this is huge, really. Yeah.
And yet this is the whole point. And when you think even Bitcoin, I do hold a little bit of Bitcoin, but I'm not a massive fan, if I'm honest. But both Bison Relay, Decred, Bitcoin, whichever way you want to look at it, the whole idea is they've seen what happened with PayPal, and they've seen what happened with Visa and all the rest of it, and the internet in general, where people can just poach off of anyone they want to just by inserting themselves in the middle. And that's really the difference, isn't it? Is Bison Relay hasn't inserted itself. It's just, right, you just need this tiny little amount. Now you can use it as, if you want adverts, you can have adverts, but in actual fact, you don't have to have them. If you don't want to have to interact with anyone you don't want to, you don't have to see content you don't want to. So nobody is able to put themselves in the middle of it. And this brings us back to what's the next big craze. And my hope, I don't think this will happen, but my hope is people will come around to this train of thought that having middlemen is the worst thing. Having rent seekers on every activity you do in life is the worst thing that can happen. And that's my hope, is Bison Relay triggers that event where it says, oh, I can actually communicate with Tivra, and Tivra's just posted something really great, so I'm going to give him a tip. And nobody has sat in the middle of that. And that's what Bitcoin, and that's what all these platforms were meant to do, is so no one sits in the middle of it. I can just send Jay or X a tip for all their great work, exactly. and that's that. And that's one of my hopes. Yeah,
exactly. Because the magic of I felt like a few times in my life this feeling of it's hard to describe it, but there were like pockets of where you felt, okay, this kind of global, true free network could emerge, right? And I felt like that in the beginning of the internet, the first time I accessed IRC, and I chatted with someone, I think from Australia, and it was such a magic moment. I was like, wow, it's life-changing when you see that. And then, but then quickly internet devolved into something else, right? Like today you have few companies, Amazon, Google, everything is on their servers. The protocol wasn't strong to resist this kind of centralization, even though I think we referred a few times to the creator of the web, right? And he said how disappointed
Tim Berners-Lee, yeah, he was
legendary Tim Berners-Lee, who is disappointed with how the internet, how things went. And I wonder what his thoughts would be on Bison Relay. And you know, another magic moment for me was Bitcoin. The first time when I sent a transaction to someone or purchased something just for fun. Actually, I didn't. What I purchased it for, it was a book, I think, and I didn't need to use Bitcoin, but I wanted to prove to myself that this works. And it was amazing, like without intermediaries, without a third party, you know, being able to. It's really, again, something that changes your life. And I think that that Bison Relay gave me that feeling again after 10 years, you know.
I
it's like
completely agree.
It's like these two moments combined, you know. First time I was on IRC, and first time I sent a transaction, and these two things combined. It's so the potential I see here is incredible. I mean, like Dave said, you know, Dave Collins said that he thinks most people lack imagination. That's what he observes, and he probably observed it since the beginnings of crypto. People didn't see really what crypto can be used for. Crypto, when I say crypto, I don't mean cryptography, I mean cryptocurrency. What things could be developed. And we know that Dave and the Company Zero folks in general are very visionary and are ahead of many things. So and the same is happening now with Bison Relay. I think most people really can't imagine where things could go here. The directions, you know, some of the things we already mentioned were like websites and markets, you know. And when I talked to Jay-Z said that the free markets are actually the basis of capitalism, not capitalism, but like free markets are the basis of a free society and so on. So by having truly free markets, you're actually rebuilding the blocks of our society, right? Which has become in many ways so regulated that we cannot even call it free markets anymore. So I mean, this I recommend to everyone who is interested, even vaguely, in Bison Relay, to try to think of what it could become in the future, because the possibilities are really impressive.
Yeah, and if you are interested in Bison Relay, you need to know Go and Flutter. I'm going through both of them at the moment to try. I want to be the first page. You know, I want to rebuild Decred magazine on Bison Relay. That is my mission.
That's amazing. That's an amazing idea, really.
Yeah, I've got a lot to learn. Trust me, it's a minefield. Flutter on its own and Dart is just blows me away. Really,
Sorry, I just one thing I wanted to add is also that when Bison Relay is available on phones, right? That's another thing that will make it much easier to use. Right now, we need to be on our. I know that some people I talk to, they say to me, you know, I don't even use a PC anymore. I mean, I'm not in this generation. I'm an older generation, so my main thing is always my PC, and it always will be. So I'm not such a phone person, but for other people I talk to, they say like today 95% is just phone, right? It's just I use my phone. So because you mentioned Flutter and you mentioned how the graphic interface for Bison Relay is also built in, I think it will be pretty easy to make a good implementation for Android. And this should be coming soonish, and that will really help people onboard.
Yeah, well, Flutter is it's already cross compatible, but it's also mobile scalable as well.
Exactly.
It will be different because I think unless they can get the apps on the app stores, it might be a relaying effect. So we'll have to see about that. But
because if you saw the Deimos app, I think some was removed from I think the Chinese app store. So at least if Bison Relay gets on App Store and Play Store, at least we must expect for it to be banned or removed from many countries, if not globally. But I don't think globally. My gut feeling is they will allow it on the App Store and the Play Store. But probably it will be banned in some countries like China and so on. They will remove it from. store.
I hope they can get it on there. Jay and Exodus, we've hogged all the time, man. What do you want to say, man? Let's hear from you guys. Your turn.
In terms of what specific topic?
Oh, I don't mind. You got any thoughts on Bison Relay?
The
or
one
what's
thing I've
next?
been thinking about, and I think everyone's been thinking about this, is the ticket price. If you guys want to talk about that.
Yeah.
So currently,
Now,
the current ticket price is 491 Decred, and in the next window, it's going to be about 496. So this is the highest the ticket price has ever been. So we're at an all-time high, and this comes after the ticket price obviously fell to, I think it was maybe even a 2-year low. I have to double check, but the ticket price plummeted.
yeah,
And it's kind of
150.
bittersweet when that happens, because it kind of, creates this moment of like, are we in free fall? Is like, are people exiting Decred? But at the same time, the ticket prices get so cheap, suddenly you can buy many more tickets. And at the same time, your tickets seem to vote much faster because there's just less tickets in the pool. But then as we've seen, the ticket price has flown back up, skyrocketed back up to all-time highs. And then it's like, oh no, well, okay, so the participation's back, but now my tickets are super expensive. And I'm sure most people aren't even buying tickets because the price is just going to drop right back.
Yeah, I did a review of 2022 on Decred magazine. It's quite, well, I think it's quite interesting. But the world was falling. The world was plummeting into chaos. Everything was failing. Decred price went to a multi-year low of £15. Bitcoin plummeted from 60,000 all the way down to 16,000. So did everything else. But the one thing that never fell: ticket price. The ticket pool value remained and actually got higher throughout those 2 years. It went from 7.5 million DCR, or 60% of the supply, to 9.5 million, 65% of the supply. And if that's not a store of value, I don't know what is.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, because also you cannot attribute that increase just to the same people restaking, because it doesn't work if you think about it. So it has to be new people coming in and staking.
The store of value narrative has never been on Decred tickets, and at the moment, the price of a Decred ticket. Now let me get this right. You can buy, three Decred tickets. No, it's actually two now. 2 Decred tickets for one Bitcoin. So there you go.
Also, if you saw the APR, the APR went really high when during the dip. If you saw, like, it was 12%, I think. Go ahead, Exeter. Sorry.
I was going to just add, it comes at a very interesting time when we have so many proposals kind of being discussed and voted on. And I don't know if you guys think there's any correlation with that, but I found that certainly interesting. And of course, it's great to see, Politeia is super active. It feels really good,
Yeah, it really does feel good. I mean, it was a little bit empty in the last quarter of last year. And it's this year started with a lot of proposals, which is great to see. And to be honest, I also connected those two events in my head, and I was wondering, like, why? Because, for instance, this increase in ticket price, I think it's nothing interesting, because I think it's just an effect of the dip.
The wave.
Exactly, it's just a wave. Yeah. The dip caused everyone to get in and buy as many tickets as they could, the dip. And now, of course,
I think the ticket waves make being in Decred much more interesting. Like when I first got into Decred in 2017, the ticket price was kind of all over the place. And it was always really fun to kind of monitor where it would be and kind of when to buy your tickets. So it's kind of nice to see that back to some degree. I don't know how you guys feel, especially Tim, you've been around for so long.
You mean before the algo change?
No, I mean, even after the algo change in 2017, 2018, I feel like there was quite like recently, the last, I don't know, 6 months, maybe in the last year, the ticket price has been very stable, I feel.
Right.
Like you haven't really had a big swing, but you know, in earlier years, 2017, 2018, even after the algo change, I still feel like there was a pretty, you know, there were pretty big swings in ticket price. At least that's how I remember it. I could be wrong. I mean, we could look at the charts.
Right. There was a period of, let's say, very linear progression. And I mean, as a wave as big as this one, I don't think there ever was, if we don't include pre-algo change times, right? I mean, pre-algo change times were really crazy because the craziest thing there was that everyone was waiting for the ticket price to drop, right? Like literally everyone. So everyone got in at the same time, and actually the problem there was the fee price, because the fee price was so high. You paid, I'm not kidding, like 0.2 decred. Can you imagine now 0.2 decred for the ticket transaction? Because otherwise sometimes you couldn't get your ticket in, and of course the price of the ticket was so low that it was worth paying even 0.3, even half decred, because it was such a low price. But yeah, I agree with you that it's fun. This I agree 100% that this wave is fun. I mean, I don't know if it's, let's say, I don't know if it's healthy. So I don't think we want to increase this effect, but it is fun. You know, it's like we can compare it to ordinals and inscriptions and so on. It's not healthy for the network maybe, but it's super fun. And one thing I wanted to say is that, you know, for me, this has to be a big player here. I mean, the effect comes also from people following the whale, so to speak, right? So when the whales stopped staking, this creates the wave effect, like we discussed. But I think the first act here was definitely a bigger entity unstaking, and it's not clear why. And I do agree, it's interesting, like Exitus said, it comes at a time with so many proposals. It's probably a coincidence, but it's an interesting coincidence.
But it's funny how we come back so fast to 65%. Stake it. Personally, I love the system because I think it's just offer and demand. So I just love it, because any other thing will be either flawed or rigged. So yeah, you can't promise people 20% ROI in a year. You just have to take in account the demand, the offer. So yeah, I just love it. I think it's fair.
Yeah, I mean, the new algorithm, kudos to the Decred team. I think it was, you have to quote me on this or find out for me, but I think it was Dave Collins that came up with the algorithm, and it's seamless. Literally, the whale took out 600,000 DCR from the pool, bring it down to 9 million. And like I say, over the course of a week, it kind of plummeted 5% below target. And then within the week, it kind of recorrected itself and went 9% above it, and now it's obviously recorrecting again. So, although you are going to still, there's nothing you can do about the fluctuations, I don't think, especially when 0.5% of the supply is taken out in one go. But it's a pretty impressive system, I've got to be honest.
It makes sense.
It blows my mind. Yeah. We're past the hour mark. I don't know. We've got 6 people watching. If anyone wants to bring a comment and we can discuss that, or if anyone else has anything else they want to add, but let's go round the table. What do you think the next craze? Now, not the thing you're wishing for, but the next craze for the crypto market will be in 2023. So I'll start. Like I said before, I think it's all about VCs and value extracting. I think now that we're kind of low on retail, they're just trying to kind of steal each other's money, for value extracting out of anything they can possibly get. How about you, Joe? What do you think the next big craze will be?
Might be privacy with regulations, and yeah, might be privacy.
Exus, what's your big thing?
I'm trying to think of something that's a little more interesting than saying self-custody, privacy, etc. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's just, stability. Like I said earlier, people are going to want to be in things that they know aren't going to get rug pulled like FTX, where you had something like FTX, which was like, oh, it was trusted, it's all good. And then it came down and brought down so many other things with it. So I think people are going to be double, triple checking the asset they're buying to see, is there any potential possibility that this asset will go to zero? I think that's what's going to be the main craze, so to speak. But I don't know if things come out of nowhere. We had the ICO craze, NFT craze, etc. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think self-custody has got to be the message. Whether it's going to be the craze, I think people are still quite silly. What about you, Tivra?
Oh yeah, like I said, I think I mean what Exodus said, that things come out of nowhere. This is really true in crypto. I mean, I think that the next craze will, during the peak bull run, I think there will be another craze, and I probably think that something that we can't yet imagine right now. It's probably going to be something new. I do think, however, this I think this NFT stuff is not going away. This is going to develop in many ways, and I think we could see developments in the NFT camp that is beyond just JPEGs. So new stuff in that direction. Yeah, go on, Jack.
Yeah, they say like NFTs you can transfer. So a diploma they send to you in your address, and you can transfer it. So yeah, that's good ideas.
Yeah,
certainly
that's
if NFTs are done in a correct way, it could be big for sure. And of course, who knows? Maybe Bison Relay or something like Bison Relay is a new technology. We should remind everyone that they plan on adding storefront capabilities, which is kind of the wild card, which is something I don't think anyone else has. So that's going to be the most interesting element for sure.
Yes, I think what Exodus mentioned now, it's really something that I think will catch everyone by surprise. This unstoppable decentralized stores. This is something. I mean, I don't want to make let's say dangerous comparisons, but we have to. It's part of history, so we have to remember that how Bitcoin got big first time, and it was because of Silk Road. So we cannot deny this part of history. But if you think about Silk Road, it was done in such a primitive way. I mean, if you look just how it was done, actually, the technology, it was stupid, right? I mean, okay, except Tor, which is legit good technology, but the store itself, how it was just a stupid old buggy forum, right? So that will be big, I think. Yes. So let's say, this is what I want to say. When you speak of new trends, you can speak of I don't want to use this word. Maybe it's a little bit pejorative, but normies. So normies, people who are not into crypto coming in. So that wave is a trend. Like that was like ICOs, NFTs, and so on. And I think here you will see new developments in NFTs, which are not just pictures. And this could bring normies, so to speak, in, because they seem to be motivated by completely different stuff than some of us. They are coming to it from different angles that have nothing to do with digital sovereignty and so on. And maybe they come from the JPEGs and then they stay for the digital sovereignty. So it's good at the end, right? So that's one angle. And the other angle, I think, is more, let's say, more a more cypherpunk angle, so to speak. And here the markets on, like we discussed with Monero people also, on the spaces, because another thing is the free markets, the darknet markets will always be a kind of proof that a currency really works. So even if you use it for then to buy coffee, like some Monero people say this currency is good enough for the darknet markets, but I use it just to buy coffee, right? But the fact that it's good for the darknet markets proves that I can really buy this coffee and nobody will trace it back to my account, because we have to remember that Bitcoin right now is useless for this. I mean, it's not an exaggeration to say that it's useless. It is useless. I mean, if you don't mix it, someone can basically, it's insane. Like you pay for a coffee and the barista can see your whole transaction history. I mean, it's useless, right?
They come and mug you.
It's not even exploited yet.
Yeah.
Right.
I like the idea of the Bison Relay storefronts. If people find it useful, they'll come because of that use rather than what crypto is. And I think the storefront will be a game changer there. We got one from Paulinator, which says his thought is security protocols should rise with the onset of regulations. Any thoughts about that?
No, this is what we all agreed with already. I think, yeah, I agree with that. And we see that the increase of regulation will push people to privacy because to a security, because I'm not sure I understand the question correctly. Security protocols should rise with the, I just rereading it now. But if I understand it correctly, it's often regulation that pushes people, because you need a strong motivation for people to care about certain things, right? So in many ways, strong regulation can actually help, so to speak, make people interested in that. So because otherwise people don't actually care about security and privacy so much unless they're forced to do it, unless there is some real threat or let's say fear.
Did you see Munger's thing this week about? He said that they should ban crypto in the US. That guy's a smart dude, but I don't know.
Yeah.
On that.
I mean, here you see someone who is really smart, but he's out of touch here, right? He's not.
Yeah. When is your next Twitter space, Tivra?
Oh, I wanted to say, I wanted to speak about that. So thank you so much for reminding me. I wanted to do a more relaxed space for our birthday, right? So birthday space.
Yeah, yes. Oh, that'd
so
be good.
for the 8th February, and I will invite some people from our past, who are no longer with us in our community. I don't wanna name any names because maybe then they won't come, right? But yeah, I will try to bring some people who were with us in the past, and I hope they will come to
that'd be really
say
good.
hi.
So what are we looking at? The 8th of February? What kind of time?
I will try to post this announcement much sooner than usually. Usually I post it one or 2 days before. This time I will try to do it tomorrow, so there will be like 4 days for people to prepare, and or maybe today I will post it. And I think the best time is, I experimented a little bit with times, and I think 9 p.m. My Central European time seems to be the best to include as many time zones as possible. It's not really easy to do it, but that will be like, if I'm not mistaken, that will be 1 p.m. Pacific time and 3 p.m. New York time, if I'm not mistaken. So this is good for Europe and America, and also I think for Asia, it shouldn't be that bad. I can't remember now, but yeah, around like last space. So 1 p.m. PST or like that. And it will be a Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, right? No, it's a Wednesday. Yeah. So birthday party.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing from all the old people and to see what they have to say. Guys, it's been absolutely great talking to you guys. Really liked the first bit about the motorsport. Really enjoyed talking to those guys. So hopefully everyone votes. Any final thoughts before we close out?
Yeah, we like to say it was nice to have Laurent and Yannick earlier, because I feel like it's a more natural way to do marketing. There is it's more pure. There is no middleman, no marketing team in this, and I love it. Even if it's more high cadences, but yeah, I love it. I feel more transparent as well, which is, I mean, it's always good.
I should note that I did ask
I
should note that I did ask other proposal people to come on as well. So yeah, I didn't just say for the motorsport guys to come on, just in case you're thinking I was being deliberately just looking at their proposal. I did ask more people. But yeah, absolutely, I like the idea of video and audio, and I'm so happy that Tivra invited all the guys onto his one as well. So it's important to get those messages out there. How about you, Exus? Final words?
Yeah, I was just going to say it's really interesting to see to have proposal owners come and talk about the proposal, not just on Politeia. Even though Politeia should serve as the main base for communicating to stakeholders, it's been kind of an interesting change because I don't think we've ever in the past had something like this since Politeia's launched in 2018, where we have proposal owners selling their proposal or promoting it in real time on streams where you can ask questions in real time. So that's certainly interesting. And I'd like to hear from the community to some degree if they want to see more of this, basically, if they think this is a good use of time, or as opposed to just, the upvote, downvote style of comments on Politeia. I personally like both. And I feel like when they came on today and talked about their proposal, it certainly seemed more interesting than reading it just on Politeia.
That's a very good point. And I think to continue what Exitus said, some people are, let's say, are better in text. Some people will be better just talking about or appearing and discussing their proposals. So, and Exitus mentioned that maybe the only time I remember this was attempted, if I'm not mistaken, was when I think not for Dito and the PR, I don't think so. But maybe for, if I'm not mistaken, for the market making stuff, but maybe, and the ESIC people appeared, but that wasn't a proposal, yeah. So no, not in this way. And I think, even though Politeia will always be the main thing, I think this is also a kind of automatic marketing we're doing if we do this, because not only people talk about their own proposal, but we are showing, let's say, outsiders how our proposal system even works. And, sometimes maybe we will be arguing or creating some controversy, which is always, drama is always fun and it's a good marketing. So, this is the good thing, that we're bringing Politeia, which is probably visited just by stakeholders, not outsiders, and we're bringing that discussion into the wider space. And this way people can see, okay, what are these guys talking about? Why are they, who are they giving money to, and so on. In our space, there was a girl who came and asked, like, what is going on here? Are you just giving people money, So it's just interesting like that this can happen. So yeah, it's an automatic, let's say, marketing also. It's a good thing.
And I think to myself, in the past, we've been criticized for missing opportunities. So, I think we should try at least to give, make sure that people can relay what they're thinking in however best suits them. And they were clearly, they have clearly come off a lot better over audio and video. So, but we'll see. I mean, obviously that's not to sway any of the stakeholders, but it's nice to get the whole story. Guys, as always, it's been an absolute pleasure. We'll see Tivra on Wednesday, the 7th for Decred's 7th birthday, and you guys will catch up with next month Exodus for the next state of the market. Now, if anyone's got any comments, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you want us to talk about something, obviously give us a shout. It'd be great. Jay, always a pleasure. Thank you for translating for me. Much appreciated. And everyone, we'll see you next time.
Yeah, it's been great. Thank you.